All right, welcome Dee Dee, welcome Rick, welcome Ryan. Please tell me how audio, video, and connection are. Welcome Gregory. All right, we'll get started. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Uttahatta nisidatta ko atto supute novo attora nanhi ka nidda sallaviddana rupatang Uttahatta nisidatta dalhang sikkatta santiya mavo pamatte vinyaya machuraja mohayatta vasanuge yaya deva manusa cha sitta tittanti attika tarate tang visattikang karanovo maupajjago Kanatita hi sochanti niramanhi samapita pamado rajo pamado pamadana nupattito rajo appamadena vijjaya babbe salamatanoti. All right, English. Wake up, make an effort. Get up and sit. What need of sleep? For the sick, what rest is there, pierced by the arrow of pain? Get up and sit, train hard for peace. Let not Mara know that you are negligent, deluded, and under his control. Cross beyond this craving, tied to, desiring which gods and men remain. Don't let this chance pass by. Those who do so grieve, sending themselves to hell. From dust arises negligence, from negligence to more. By diligence and knowledge, pluck out the arrow oneself. Sadhu. All right. Welcome, Jayantha. Welcome, Michelle. How is audio and video connection? All good? Welcome, Gautam and Bella. All right. So why don't we get started into our meditation? So set your body up in whatever comfortable and stable position works for you, whether you're sitting on a cushion or a chair or a couch. Do we have any newbies today? I don't think we do. So I will do limited guided meditation. So once you're set up, start doing your mindful scan of the body, starting from the feet, moving up to the head. Remember, you do this mindful scan for two major reasons. The first is that it's a good intermediary step between the busy, active mind of the day and the subtle mind becoming calm and following the breath. And secondarily, it allows you to have a strong mindfulness of the body to understand your posture so that you can sit for longer periods with less pain. Remember to pay close attention to the important parts of your posture, like the knees, the pelvis, the spine, the angle of the pelvis is often the culprit for lots of back pain. Whenever you're done setting up your body in that comfortable and stable position, let the body go. Take your 3 deep breaths. Then begin to follow the breath as the body breathes in and out. Remember, whenever you're distracted away, acknowledge, let go, and return. Keep coming back to the breath. No need to get frustrated if you keep getting distracted. Just keep acknowledging, letting go, and return. Train your mind to stay with the breath. Acknowledge, let go, and return. Come back to the breath. The breath is home base. It's always there doing its thing, ready for you to follow it towards a more calm and tranquil mind. Slowly start to open your eyes, becoming aware of the room around you and your body's position in it. Reflecting on the state of your mind before and after the meditation, and contemplating any experiences that stood out. Glass doesn't quite work as a bell very well. For next time. All right. Welcome, Shay. So, welcome everybody. It is Monday night. That means it is time for the Festival of Dhamma with the Magaseke community and the Empty Cloud community. Because I'm an Empty Cloud here for the next couple of weeks, and we have some Empty Cloud residents here live in studio. And so it's time to have our Festival of Dhamma, to do Dhammapalooza. If you have any questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat. I was debating between a Dhamma talk, and then I realized what sutta is next, and I think I'd rather do the sutta. Maybe we'll do a Dhamma talk next week. I know we did a sutta in it last week, but it was also a practice sutta, although I guess technically this one is as well. So let's share screen. We are going to cover the Buddha's metta ideal today. We're covering the simile of the saw. Kakachupama Sutta. Catherine. I don't know if that's a name I'm familiar with. Is this your first time with us, or do I know you as another name, or? All right, so while I'm reading the sutta, obviously I'll be stopping and giving commentary, but if you have any questions, just feel free to type it in the chat, and everybody here, just feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions as we're going along. This sutta and being at Empty Cloud reminds me, gives me back to the old days of Buddhist insights in New York City when I would be doing a metta retreat. Brought me back years and years ago. All right. Wasabi. Okay. Very good. Oh, good to have you with us again, Wasabi. Okay, Kakachupama. So I have heard. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi in Jeta's Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, Venerable Paguna of the Top Knot was spending too long mixing closely with some nuns. So much so that if any mendicant criticized those nuns in his presence, Paguna, or Malia Paguna, it would be the Pali name, of the Top Knot, got angry and upset, and even instigated disciplinary proceedings. And if any mendicants criticized Paguna of the top knot in their presence, those nuns got angry and upset and instigated disciplinary proceedings. That's how close Paguna of the top knot was with those nuns. Then a mendicant went up to the Buddha, bowed, sat down to one side, and told him what was going on. So the Buddha addressed one of the monks. Please, monk, in my name, tell the mendicant Malaya Paguna the teacher summons him. Yes, sir, the monk replied. He went to Paguna of the top knot and said to him, Reverend Paguna, the teacher summons you. Yes, Reverend Paguna replied. He went to the Buddha, bowed, sat down to one side. The Buddha said to him, Is it really true, Paguna, that you've been spending too long mixing closely with some nuns, so much so that if any mendicant criticized those nuns in your presence, you'd get angry and upset and even instigate disciplinary proceedings? And if any mendicant criticized you in those nuns' presence, they'd get angry and upset and even instigate disciplinary proceedings. Is that how close you've become with those nuns? Yes, sir. Paguna, are you not a gentleman who has gone forth out of faith from the lay life to homelessness? Yes, sir. As such, it is not appropriate for you to mix so closely with those nuns. So you would kind of think, when you think about maybe close friends or family members, it's a very common thing that if you feel that they're being attacked, like you would rise up to their defense, right? However, when we're talking about monastics, there are things that we have to be extra things that we have to take into consideration. Okay. When we're talking about, and again, also we're talking about, these are mendicants, these are kind of Buddhists bringing up or criticizing other Buddhists. This is not necessarily talking about just random people out in the world, but because the Buddha is pointing out, it's like, are you not a monk? Oh, you're a monk, so this is not appropriate to be so kind of attached and to do so that you get very angry and defensive. Like, this is not really very good monk behavior. So this is this is why the Buddha, he's being called in front of the Buddha in this regard. All right, what does the Buddha say? My disciples endure hot, cold, gadflies, all kinds of weather, all kinds of creatures, insults, etc. Right? This is part of the practice especially for monastics, even for lay people, but especially for monastics, that we don't get so riled up if somebody calls us a bad name or something like that, right? we're not too worried. And this is the whole point of this sutta actually is about words, but the Buddha goes to an extreme to make a point, as we'll see. But there's actually a lot of great stuff in this sutta. This is very important suttas in regarding to metta. So let's continue on. So if anyone criticizes those nuns in your presence, you should give up any desires or thoughts of the domestic life. If that happens, you should train so give up any desires or thoughts of the domestic life. This is the Buddha saying, give up the old way of attacking those who you think is attacking somebody you are connected to or that you like. Right? If that happens, you should train like this. My mind will not degenerate. I will blurt no bad words, so my mind will not fall into agitation and anger. Right? And why? Well, we know what the Buddha says about anger, right? We know that the Buddha says it has a honeyed crest and a poison root. whatever you do out of anger is never going to be skillful because it has that poison. So even you think you're defending somebody you like or anything like that, letting your mind degenerate. I like this translation. I don't know if this is really exact to the Pali, but I like Bhante Sujata's translation here. Don't let your mind degenerate. I think that's kind of quite poignant. I will blurt out no bad words. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love and no secret hate. That's how you should train. So now, before we've just been talking about words. The Buddha has begun his escalation here. So even if someone strikes those nuns with fists, stones, rods, and swords in your presence, you should give up any desires or thoughts of the domestic life. If that happens, you should train like this. My mind will not degenerate. I will blurt out no bad words. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart full of love and no secret hate. That's how you should train. I wonder if Bhante is not fully translating, because I thought always there was just because I pretty much have the Bhikkhu Bodhi version of that line memorized. And I thought there was always, and starting from that person, I will abide, pervading the entire world. After the whole heart of love and secret hate thing. I wonder if Bhante Sujata was kind of just combining or condensing things. Let me check the chat here. Okay, Rick has a question. All right, Rick. Well, I'll definitely get to that question. We should have plenty of time after the sutta, I think. And if time is running out, I'll just stop the sutta and I'll answer the question. So I will answer. So even if someone strikes those nuns with a fist, etc., they should give up desires or thoughts for the domestic life. If that happens, you should train like this. My mind will not degenerate. I will blurt out no bad words. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart full of love and no secret hate. So again, one thing that should be understood here is that even the Buddha even allows monks to give a blow to somebody in defense in the effort of getting away. So this is not necessarily the Buddha saying here that if you see somebody being attacked, you just sit there and just watch. It's like, oh, I have metta for the person. You can do something, but you should not let your mind degenerate. Like that's an important thing to understand here. If you need to get away, or if you want to help somebody who's getting beaten by rods and swords, okay. However, you should try to do so with a mind that is full of metta. Quite hard for the average person, but this is why you practice. And this is one of the number of reasons why this is a metta ideal, because we're just going higher from here. We're just getting started. The Buddha is just getting started in terms of ramping up. All right. So if anyone criticizes you, so the Buddha has now gone back. So if anyone criticizes you in your presence, you should give up any desires or thoughts of the domestic life. If that happens, you should train like thus. My mind will not degenerate. I will blurt out no bad words. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love and no secret hate. That's how you should train. Let me see if I try to, it's been a while since I said it, but I want to try to see if I remember the Bhikkhu Bodhi version. My mind will remain unaffected and I shall utter no evil words. I shall abide compassionate for their welfare. And starting with them, I shall pervade the entire world with a mind of metta. Yes, that's basically what the Bhikkhu Bodhi version is. I kind of like the Bhikkhu Bodhi version better in that regard. But all right. And now the Buddha talks about Paguna himself. So Paguna, even if someone strikes you with fists, stones, rods, and swords, and this is Bhante Sudatta is condensing these things. In the sutta itself, it goes through the different levels. You should give up any desire or thoughts of the domestic life. If that happens, you should train like this. My mind will not degenerate. I will blurt out no bad words. I will remain full of sympathy with a heart full of love and no secret hate. That's how you should train. It reminds me of the sutta with Puna. The Buddha, Venerable Puna goes to the Buddha and says, Bhante, I will go to Sunaparanta. And Buddha says, oh, Puna, the people of Sunaparanta are rough. Right? Like he's basically saying that's a dangerous place. And so he tests Puna. He says, well, what if they were to say, curse you? And Puna says, I will have metta for them, and I will think, well, at least they didn't throw a clod at me. The Buddha says, well, what if they throw a clod at you? I will have metta, and I will say, at least they didn't throw a rock, right? And it keeps going like this, and so he says, well, what if they hit you with a rod? Well, at least they didn't hit me with a knife. Right? Then Buddha says, well, what if they hit you with a knife? And then Puna says, there are disciples of the Buddha who have asked others for a knife to die. And this is that story about how the Buddha taught mindfulness of death to the monks, and a bunch of monks got disgusted and killed themselves or asked somebody to kill them. So Puna is saying there are disciples of the Buddha who have sought a knife, and I have a knife come at me without even seeking. Right? And then after Puna says this, the Buddha says, "You are ready, Puna. You can go." Right? So this is the kind of mindset that we're talking about here. All right. Then the Buddha said to the mendicants, so now the Buddha is changing gears here. Mendicants, I used to be satisfied with the mendicants. Once I addressed them, I eat my food in one sitting per day. Doing so, I find that I'm healthy and well, nimble and strong, and living comfortably. You too should eat your food in one sitting per day. Doing so, you'll find that you're healthy and well, nimble, strong, and living comfortably. I didn't have to keep on instructing those mendicants. I just had to prompt their mindfulness. So the Buddha's basically saying, back in the day, these monks, I just had to prompt them. Right. Suppose a chariot stood harnessed to thoroughbreds at a level crossroad with a goad ready. A deft horse trainer or master charioteer might mount the chariot, taking the reins in his right hand and goad in the left. He'd drive out and back wherever he wishes, whenever he wishes. In the same way, I didn't have to keep on instructing those mendicants. I just had to prompt their mindfulness. So mendicants, you too should give up what's unskillful and devote yourselves to skillful qualities. In this way, you'll achieve growth, improvement, and maturity in this teaching and training. Suppose that not far from a town or village there was a large grove of sal trees that was choked with castor oil weeds. Then along comes a person who wants to help protect and nurture that grove. They'd cut down the crooked sal saplings that were robbing the sap and throw them out. They'd clean up the interior of the grove and properly care for the straight, well-formed sal saplings. In this way, in due course, the sal grove would grow, increase, and mature. In the same way, mendicants, you too should give up what's unskillful and devote yourselves to skillful qualities. In this way, you'll achieve growth, improvement, and maturity in this teaching and training. Now we have very, very famous, simile. And so Buddha, once upon a time, mendicants, right here in Savatthi, there was a housewife named Vedehika. She had this good reputation. The housewife Vedehika is gentle, even-tempered, and calm. Now Vedehika had a bonded maid, a slave, named Kali, who was deft, tireless, and well-organized in her work. Then Kali thought, my mistress has a good reputation as being gentle, even-tempered, and calm. But does she actually have anger in her and just not show it? Or does she have no anger? Or is it just because my work is well organized that she doesn't show anger, even though she still has it inside? Why don't I test my mistress? So this is a very interesting thing, right? Kali is actually making a good point. This is how you can reflect in your own. It's like, well, is she not angry because everything is just going according to how she wants it to? There's no problems. I do everything well and she likes it? Or is it there, right? So that's a good kind of way you can think about that in yourself. How you act when everything is perfectly fine versus how you act when things start to not work out. Why don't I test my mistress? Then Kali got up during the day. So what the saying here is she got up late. She got up, instead of the early morning, she got up later, basically. She got up during the day. Vedehika said to her, Oi, wench. I don't think I've read Bhante Sujanto's translation of this yet. Oi, wench, Kali. What is it, ma'am? You're getting up in the day? What's up with you, wench? Nothing, ma'am. Oh, so nothing's up, you naughty maid. You get up in the day. Angry and upset, she scowled. So we have the first sign. Anger has arisen in her mind. It hasn't really come out yet. Just notice a little bit in the body language, a little scowl. It hasn't quite come out yet. But Kali thought, my mistress actually has anger in her and just doesn't show it. It's not that she has no anger. It's just because my work is well organized that she doesn't show anger, even though she still has it inside. Why don't I test my mistress further? So Kali got up later in the day. Vedehika said to her, Oi, wench, Kali. What is it, ma'am? You're getting up even later in the day. What's up with you, wench? Nothing, ma'am. Oh, so nothing's up, you naughty maid. But you get up even later in the day. Angry and upset, she blurted out angry words. So it went from in the mind, coming out of the words, coming out of the mouth. Then Kali thought, my mistress actually has anger in her and just doesn't show it. It's not that she has no anger. It's just because my work is well organized that she doesn't show anger, even though she still has it inside. Why don't I test my mistress further? Kali's a bit of a button pusher. Something I know quite well. I'm a bit of a button pusher too, but sometimes you have to know when to stop. But she wanted to keep doing it. So Kali got up even later in the day. Vedehika said to her, Oi, wench, Kali. What is it, ma'am? You're getting up even later in the day. What's up with you, wench? Nothing, ma'am. Oh, so nothing's up, you naughty maid, but you get up even later in the day. Angry and upset, she grabbed a door pin, or Bhikkhu Bodhi translated, I think it's a rolling pin, and hit Kali over the head, cracking it open. So we have the different thing. We have, it started out just in her mind. You barely just saw a scowl. And then it escalated into verbal, harsh words coming out. And now it's escalated into physical action. Okay? Then Kali, with blood pouring from her cracked skull, denounced her mistress to the neighbors. See, ladies, what the gentle one did? See what the even-tempered one did? See what the calm one did? How on earth can she grab a door pin and hit her only slave on the head, cracking it open, just for getting up late? Then, after some time, the housewife Vaidehika got this bad reputation. The housewife Vaidehika is fierce, ill-tempered, and not calm at all. In the same way, a mendicant may be the gentlest of the gentle, the most even-tempered of the even-tempered, the calmest of the calm, so long as they don't encounter any disagreeable criticism. So now you understand why the Buddha is giving this simile related to why the Buddha is talking to Malayapaguna in the first place. But it's when they encounter disagreeable criticism that you'll know whether they're really gentle and even-tempered and calm. So there's a sutta where the Buddha talks about this. The Buddha says that the only way you'll know the quality of somebody is you see them during hard times, right? You see them how they handle situations over a long period of time, living with them, and then you can know the quality of somebody, at least to a certain degree. So that's what the Buddha is saying here. It's very easy. Everything's going very well and how good. And so I'm very nice and calm. And then things don't go well. And then the beast, the Hulk, comes out. There's a wonderful poem that I used to have at my desk at work by Ella Wilcox, the lady from the 1800s. And the one line that I always loved was this. It says, "It's easy enough to be happy when life flows along like a song. But the one worthwhile is the one who can smile when everything goes all wrong." All right, and boy, my career, everything went all wrong all the time. So I would think, all right, well, what can I do but laugh and get to work? Right, just the same thing with the Buddha. The simile of the mountains. The mountains are closing in. What can you do? Practice Dhamma and do good deeds, right? And smile. Anyway, so that's the Buddha's making a point here. You can really know if somebody is free of anger when they're tested, not when everything's all nice and good. And I don't say that a mendicant is easy to admonish if they make themselves easy to admonish only for the sake of robes, alms, food, lodgings, and medicines and supplies for the sick. Why is that? Because when they don't get robes, alms, food, lodgings, medicines, and supplies for the sick, they're no longer easy to admonish. But when a mendicant is easy to admonish purely because they honor, respect, revere, worship, and venerate the teaching, then I say they're easy to admonish. So mendicants, you should train yourselves. We will be easy to admonish purely because we honor, respect, revere, worship, and venerate the teaching. That's how you should train. Just checking the chat. Mendicants, there are these 5 ways in which others might criticize you. Their speech might be timely or untimely, true or false, gentle or harsh, beneficial or harmful, full of a heart of love or from secret hate. And this is, you see this in the suttas where the Buddha says, to check these before you speak, right? To make sure that, your speech is true, beneficial, etc., and said at the right time. So the Buddha is saying, people will criticize you in any way. If that happens, you should train like this. I wonder how. It's the same training, the whole sutta. Our minds will not degenerate. We will blurt out no bad words. We will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love and no secret hate. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that individual, and with them as a basis, we will meditate spreading a heart full of love to everyone in the world. Abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. Suppose a person were to come along carrying a spade and a basket, and they say, I shall make this great earth be without earth. And they dig all over and scatter all over, spit all over, and urinate all over the earth, saying, be without earth, be without earth. What do you think, mendicants? Could that person make this great earth be without earth? No, sir. Why is that? Because the great earth is deep and limitless. It's not easy to make it be without earth. That person will eventually get weary and frustrated. In the same way, there are these 5 ways in which others might criticize you. Their speech might be timely and untimely, true or false, gentle or harsh, beneficial or harmful, or from a heart of love or from secret hate. When others criticize you, they may do it in these ways. If that happens, you should train like this. Our minds will not degenerate. We will blurt out no bad words. We will remain full of sympathy with a heart full of love and no secret hate. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that individual, and with them as a basis, we will meditate spreading a heart like the earth to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. So this is a motif in the suttas. The Buddha also trains his young son Rahula in this too, to be like the earth. Right? This is part of patient endurance. This is part of my disciples endure all kinds of things. Somebody can say all they want to you. Be like the earth. Is the earth impacted? No. Neither do you need to be. All right. Suppose a person was to come along with dyes such as red lilac, or red lac, turmeric, indigo, or rose madder, and say, I shall draw pictures in space, making pictures appear there. What do you think, mendicants? Could that person draw pictures in space? No, sir. Why is that? Because space has no form or appearance. It's not easy to draw pictures there. That person will eventually get weary and frustrated. And just so that we're clear, when you hear the word space in the suttas, we're not talking about outer space. This is just literally the air. So the Buddha's like, can you try to paint the air? Can you draw pictures in the air? Right? In the same way, if others criticize you in these 5 ways, you should train like this. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that person, and with them as a basis, we will meditate spreading the heart like space to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. Suppose a person was to come along carrying a blazing grass torch and say, I shall burn and scorch the river Ganges with this blazing grass torch. What do you think, mendicants? Could that person burn and scorch the river Ganges with a blazing grass torch? No, sir. Why is that? Because the river Ganges is deep and limitless. And as somebody who has been on the Ganges, it is a very, very wide river. It is a huge, huge river. It's not easy to burn and scorch it with blazing grass torch. That person will eventually get weary and frustrated. In the same way, if others criticize you in any of these 5 ways, you should train like this. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that person, and with them as a basis, we will meditate spreading a heart like the Ganges to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. Suppose there was a catskin bag that was rubbed, very well rubbed, soft, silky, rid of rustling and crackling. Then a person comes along carrying a stick or a stone and says, I shall make this soft catskin bag rustle and crackle with this stick or stone. What do you think, mendicants? Could that person make that soft catskin bag rustle and crackle with that stick or stone? No, sir. Why is that? Because that catskin bag is rubbed, very well rubbed, soft, silky, rid of rustling and crackling. It's not easy to make it rustle or crackle with a stick or a stone. That person will eventually get wary, and frustrated. In the same way, there are these 5 ways in which others might criticize you. Their speech might be timely or untimely, true or false, gentle or harsh, beneficial or harmful, from a heart of love or from secret hate. When others criticize you, they may do so in these many ways. If that happens, you should train like this. Our minds will not degenerate, we will blurt out no bad words. We will remain full of sympathy with a heart of love and no secret hate. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that individual and with them as a basis. We will meditate spreading a heart like a catskin bag to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. And now here we come to the coup de grace. The Buddha has been escalating and he comes to the top. Even if low-down bandits were to sever you limb from limb with a 2-handed saw, anyone who had malevolent thought on that account would not be following my instructions. If that happens, you should train like this. Our minds will not degenerate. We will blurt out no bad words. We will remain full of sympathy with a heart full of love and no secret hate. We will meditate spreading a heart of love to that individual, and we will see them with them as a basis. We will meditate spreading a heart full of love to everyone in the world, abundant, expansive, limitless, free of enmity and ill will. That's how you should train. If you frequently reflect on the simile of this, so now the Buddha says, Tapaguna, if you frequently reflect on this advice on the simile of the saw, do you see any criticism, large or small, that you could not endure? No, sir. So let's pause here. The Buddha has given the coup de grace. The Buddha has gone all the way to the limit and basically said, even if you're literally getting sawed into pieces, this is how you should train. So is there any criticism that's gonna, cause you any trouble from here on in? Pali goes, no, all good. All right, so remember, this started out with just mere verbal criticism, causing people to get to get angry and agitated and make a case of things and all this kind of stuff. And so the Buddha just escalates all the way up to this and then brings it back down. So are you going to be bothered by words anymore? Oh, no, Bhante. It's very masterful. But also, the Buddha is not saying this as in a kind of literary device. The Buddha is not just the Buddha literally, when he says, when you are being cut into pieces, if you have any malevolence, any ill will in your mind, you are not doing my teaching. He means it. He's not just kind of saying it. He really means it. This is the metta ideal. But the Buddha is saying, you're worried about words? This. And Malipuguna is like, okay, I'm not worried about words anymore. Words are wind. I'm not, words, somebody can say whatever they want to me. It doesn't bother me. Right? This is a very powerful teaching. This is also a high order. Still, maybe every once in a while, maybe once a year, I contemplate and I think, if I was being sawed in half, would I have no ill will whatsoever? I've been doing this for about 20 years. Been practicing pretty good. I'm a monk. I've been a monk almost, actually, in a couple of days, I will be in robes 10 years. Not a full bhikkhu in 10 years, but that's next year. But in a couple of days, on Halloween, 10 years ago, Bhante Sudasa was there. He was the one who put robes on me for the first time and shaved my head. So, could I actually be sawed into pieces and have no ill will? And I don't think so. I don't think I'm there just yet. Now, you never know. When it comes to death, maybe. But I don't know. I think I probably would not have pure metta for the people sawing me to death. I probably would have some anger or some negative thoughts. But at least I know I'm getting there. I'm practicing. So this is an ideal. This is like, people really mistake ideals today. People will say, oh, like these Buddhists aren't acting like Buddha. Or they'll say, oh, these Christians aren't acting like Jesus. Who the heck can act like Buddha? Who the heck can act like Jesus? The people who say these things don't understand ideals. Ideals are something that well ahead of you. The average person is nowhere close to these ideals. To match these ideals, you have to be a supreme being. Right? So, and you're here. The Buddha's, the simile of the saw is up here, you're here. And that's okay. You're not going to match the ideal. But as you practice, you develop the Noble Eightfold Path, lifetime to lifetime, you're getting closer to that ideal. That's the point of an ideal. And the point of an ideal is something to aim for. It's a direction to travel down. And the Buddha has set this ultimate ideal. Even if you're being killed horribly by a saw, no ill will. All right, Buddha, I trust in you. I'm going to start practicing. I'm going to get there. Maybe not in this lifetime, but we'll see. So again, the Buddha is not just making it up. The Buddha is very serious about the simile of the saw, but he's using it also as a way to show how minuscule words are. This is a thing that I've heard in the society, like words are violence and things like this. And the Buddha said, no. Words are words. Train in them not affecting you. Right? If you're going to be training in somebody sawing you in pieces not affecting you, well, everything below that is going to be, not too bad. So this is very powerful sutta. Well, let's finish it out. So mendicants, you should frequently reflect on this advice on the simile of the saw. This will be for your lasting welfare and happiness. This is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, the mendicants approved what the Buddha said. I know, maybe Didi, you've maybe not heard this sutta before, this simile. I think probably Michelle has, but this is very powerful, very beautiful simile. So we have still about 10 minutes. Why don't we, I'm going to run to Rick's question here. I've practiced celibacy for over 18 years. Sadhu, very good. Are there any negative consequences to refraining from all such activities? Do you have any reflections on the benefits? I wouldn't say there's any negative. I mean, I guess it depends on what you want in life. If you're a layperson, if you want to have like a family and kids and all that, obviously that's not the way to go. That's a very powerful thing. I mean, monks disrobe because of that. So it's like, that's not a small feat. That's definitely not a small feat. That's a very meritorious thing to be able to do that for 18 years. So sadhu. So I wouldn't say there's any, again, unless you're, trying to have kids in a family, then I don't see any negative aspects to that at all. Oh, very good. The benefits are you don't have to worry about, like, honestly, I remember when I had insights that really diminished my sexuality before I became a monastic. And after that, I was like, oh, I don't feel like I want a girlfriend anymore. That's really nice. I don't have to chase after to get all this and do this and all that. Oh. This is one of the things I think about as like a layperson. I have not once in 10 years in robes thought, I think I want to disrobe and have a girlfriend. Like, no way. It's like, oh, been there, done that. Hey, listen, there's benefits to that, but boy, there's a lot of downsides to that as well. So I was like, oh yeah. So there's, there's a whole ball of extra things you don't have to worry about. You're free from all of that. And just for the women, it's the same way, just like the Bhikkhuni and the Therigatha, free from my horrible husband and, such and such. So that's a lot of extra stuff that you don't have to worry about. The sexual drive of a human being is one of the hardest drives to overcome. And I mean, obviously, it's not really only true wisdom and insight fully overcomes it. But even being able to abstain and be celibate, that's powerful. That's a very meritorious deed. That's the brahmacharya, the holy life. The celibate life. Rick also makes a comment about the simile of the saw. I have a harder time living these ideals if someone is intentionally harming, killing my dogs than if a person harmed me. Well, you're just like Malia Paguna then. Don't have, if somebody is attacking your dogs, protect them, but don't let your mind degenerate. At least to try not to. Oh, Michelle is we have multiple people who are celibate around these parts. Very good. 8 years for you. I have you by a couple years, Michelle, so very good. Thank you, Bante. Psych2Go had a post implying that people can be harmed by celibacy. I don't know where they're going with that. I'd have to kind of read or listen to because I know this Psych2Go. I think they have a YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've come across them on YouTube. I would have to see the points they're making to really have a response to that. But it does bring up a point. So, people talk about like the dangers of meditation, the dark night of the soul, and things that can happen in meditation. And that's true, actually. With one condition. That's true if you're not doing it within a Buddhist framework. Right? Having the Buddhist framework that encapsulates these practices together on a path, on a goal, and a development, then these downsides of celibacy or the downsides of meditation, all these things that might arise are very much unlikely to arise because you have this whole support system of the Buddhist teachings and the Triple Gem and all of that would really minimize or even totally eradicate any downsides or dangers that a secular world would see in doing these things. I remember because at Bhavana Society, I met thousands of people, like I always say, and people would come and they'd talk to me about the downsides of meditation and the dark night of the soul. Like, what the heck's the dark night of the soul? I never heard of that ever until I was at Bhavana, and I started looking into it. And then I started looking into like news reports of people having psychotic breaks or even committing suicide right after meditation retreats and all this stuff. And what I saw was, it was all secular. None of this happened at a Buddhist. This was not within a Buddhist framework. I think, well, one of them was the Goenka, but I mean, I don't know if I would consider that a fully Buddhist framework. That's kind of its own thing in many ways. But it really investigating this and contemplating this a lot, and I was like, oh, that's what the importance of this framework. The importance of having the framework is the support, the triple gem, the fourfold assembly, all of that is a support that supports you through these experiences and these practices. Whereas if you're doing these things without that support, then maybe there are some downsides to it. I don't know. But like I said, I would have to really understand the context and what they're saying for me to have a real response. All right. So I think now it is a good time. We have about 5 minutes, so let's share merits. Actually, let's do final business, and then we'll share merits, and we'll call it a night. So for those of you who might either now or in the future be watching this for the first time, if you'd like to find out more information about myself and the up-and-coming Buddhist organization Magga, you can go to the website listed on the screen, maggaseka.org, maggaseka.org, and that's where you'll find all information about myself, the organization. I have articles on there, all kinds of things, if you'd like to go there. So let's share merits. Oh, and just in case, maybe everybody here has heard, but just as an update, the 501c3 paperwork for Magga in Colorado has been submitted to the IRS. So Magga is an official incorporated entity in Colorado. And hopefully within 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll find out if the IRS approves, and then we'll go from there. So that's the update on how Magga is going. So let's... All right, let's share screen. Let's do sharing of merit. Dukkha patta chane dukkha, bhaya patta chane bhaya, sokha patta chane sokha, hantu sabbe pipanino, etavata chamehi sampadang punya sampadang, sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya, akasatta chabumata deva naga mahedika, punyang tang anumoditva, charang rakantu sasanang. May the suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit of ours that we've thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas, nagas, and yakas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddhist dispensation. Sadhu. Sadhu. Okay, friends, so we've come to the end of another Dhammapalooza. Sukhi Hotu, which means may you be happy and at ease, practice well and be well, and may you have a spiritually successful and peaceful practice until we meet again, which I don't know exactly what streams I'm covering here at Empty Cloud, but you could probably check me out on Empty Cloud streams. And on my own, the next thing will be Saturday Insight Timer session at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And then probably next Monday for another Dhammapalooza. So either check me out on Magaseka or Buddhist Insights on YouTube, and we'll see what I have for the next couple of weeks. So have a good week.